There are moments in life when everything feels like it pauses, like the universe itself takes a breath and holds it. In that stillness, something quietly enters. A glance, a brief exchange, a person you've never met, but somehow seem to know. They don't crash into your world. Instead, they slip in softly, like a thread your heart already understands how to weave. You speak, and something deep inside stirs, not a memory but a sense of recognition. What if you're about to meet someone who doesn't just join your story, but reshapes your soul? Carl Jung believed these kinds of meetings aren't coincidences. He spoke about synchronicity, about the anima and animus, the ways our inner world prepares for transformation, not through events, but through people. Some people come into your life not to offer gentle love, but to awaken you fully. In this video, you'll uncover 4 subtle signs that you're standing on the edge of a meeting that won't just alter your path. It will reveal who you were always meant to become. What if the shift you've been feeling isn't just about change, but about the arrival of someone significant? Someone whose presence isn't by chance, but part of a deeper unfolding within you. In Jung's view, outer experiences always reflect inner transformation. He had a term for this divine timing: synchronicity. Those strange, meaningful coincidences that logic can't explain, but feel too exact to dismiss. They're not random, they're like psychic footprints, evidence that something within you is awakening and starting to shape your world. Jung believed that during certain life phases, times of deep introspection, symbolic endings, spiritual shifts or inner confusion, the unconscious begins to reach outward. And when it does, someone begins to make their way toward you. Not because the universe is fulfilling a wish, but because your soul is ready. Jung wrote, "What you meet in another being is the mirror of your own level of consciousness. True connection isn't based on fate or romance, but on resonance." Some call this soul contracts, others say it's divine timing. Jung saw it as archetypal alignment, your inner world preparing to see itself reflected in someone else. These encounters aren't always smooth. They may not last, but they always leave a mark. They come when you've made enough room inside to receive them, when your soul isn't asking for comfort, but for growth, and someone responds. Sign number 1, your inner world starts shifting. Even before they appear, something inside begins to change, quietly, gradually, like rearranging furniture in a dream. You might wake up feeling out of place, as if your old desires no longer match your life. As if your heart is making space for someone you don't yet know. Jung taught that change begins deep in the unconscious. So before a soulmate arrives, your inner self starts making room. Old patterns resurface. You face memories, desires, wounds, and fears you thought were behind you. You might feel disconnected from people or places that once felt familiar. Things that used to bring you joy may no longer satisfy you. This isn't depression or confusion, it's realignment. You're being tuned like a musical instrument preparing for a new song. And often, that song is not meant to be played solo. Jung believed the psyche has foresight. It senses what's ahead long before the mind catches up. So if it feels like your inner world is unraveling, don't be alarmed. Pay close attention. You're not falling apart. You're being reshaped. The soul doesn't welcome transformation just because life looks orderly on the outside. Change begins not when everything is tidy, but when you're ready to rebuild from within. And sometimes the person meant to help you with that transformation is already on their way. Sign number 2. Synchronicities begin to intensify. As your internal world starts shifting, the external world begins to respond in subtle ways. You might notice a name popping up repeatedly. A childhood song plays in a cafe, the same song you heard in your dream the night before. Strangers mention topics you've been quietly thinking about. These aren't just coincidences, they're synchronicities. This concept, introduced by Carl Jung, is both profound and elusive. Jung believed that when the unconscious mind awakens, it doesn't stay confined within. It starts to shape the world around you, offering reflections and signals. According to him, the psyche can align external events to echo your inner journey. You start noticing recurring numbers, symbols, or feel, drawn to unfamiliar places, only to discover meaning once you're there. You begin to feel as if life isn't trying to challenge you, but to guide you. Synchronicities act like breadcrumbs from your soul. They may not always lead directly to another person, but often they lead you toward the version of yourself who is ready to meet them. So if the signs around you are growing stronger, if life seems to be sending you subtle nods, don't ignore them. This is the language of the psyche. It's how it tells you you're getting close. Sign number 3. You start discovering parts of yourself you've overlooked. The person who transforms your life isn't just someone you meet. They're someone who meets you in the places you've yet to meet yourself. Before that encounter can happen, your inner world calls you back to yourself. You might start feeling emotions you thought were long gone. Grief resurfacing unexpectedly, desires you were taught to deny, fears rising not to cause harm, but to be acknowledged. This is shadow work, the process of reclaiming the parts of yourself you once rejected. Jung believed that the people who leave the deepest impact on us aren't accidental. They serve as mirrors, reflecting your hidden pain, untapped strengths, and unspoken desires. For true wholeness, you might begin facing your fear of intimacy, only to later meet someone who sees beyond your defenses. Your inner feminine energy may start to soften just before encountering a man who reflects that same grace and strength. These meaningful connections don't occur when we're flawless. They happen when we're authentic. They appear after we've done enough inner work to stand openly before someone, not seeing a savior or an ideal, but a reflection of ourselves. As Carl Jung observed, we don't attract what we desire, we attract who we are or who we're prepared to become. Often, the real journey is in becoming that version of ourselves. The soulmate is simply the reflection of that readiness. Sign number 4. A deep calm or inner knowing emerges. After periods of uncertainty, signs, and unusual coincidences, something changes, not outside, but within. You no longer feel the need to chase love, seek approval, or reshape yourself to be accepted. There's a sense of stillness, a sacred quiet. Even if you haven't met the person yet, your intuition gently whispers, they're near. This isn't daydreaming. It's not anxious hope disguised as intuition. It's a grounded sense of certainty, the kind that arrives when you're inner. Life begins to harmonize with the outer world. Carl Jung described this state as the self, your deepest psychological core, moving into awareness, not as a concept, but as a lived experience. You no longer seek someone to complete or rescue you. Instead, you feel inherently deserving of a conscious, meaningful connection, not out of need, but because you've already become that connection within yourself. This is the paradox Jung often spoke of. We draw in what we've already nurtured. Inside, even if your person hasn't appeared yet, you don't feel urgency. The signal is already being sent. The attraction is already active. Jung once wrote, "Loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important." But now, you're ready to share those things, not with just anyone, but with someone who will truly understand. When you arrive at this place of inner clarity, life responds, because your soul is finally speaking with precision. So, who is this person you're about to encounter? They might not show up in the form you expect. They may not be a romantic partner. They could be a teacher, a friend, a creative partner, or even a stranger you meet only once. But their presence will signal a shift, a psychological turning point. Carl Jung believed such meetings are archetypal. They carry symbolic significance and awaken something deep within us. They mark the activation of the self. They awaken dormant parts of you. They reveal who you've become, or who you're still hesitant to be. They're not here to complete you. They're here to reflect you. Sometimes they show up when you finally let go of something. Other times, they appear when you least expect it, but exactly when you need it most. One thing's certain, once they arrive, you can't go back to who you were, not because of them, but because of what they helped you discover within. Carl Jung once said, "We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life." This encounter, whoever it involves, is one of those sacred disguises, a mirror, a message, a doorway in the form of a person. So if signs are starting to surface, if your inner voice is beginning to stir, then the real question is, how do you ready yourself for such a meaningful meeting? Not by looking outside yourself, but by becoming the version of you who's truly able to receive it. This isn't about trying harder. It's about aligning more deeply. Write down your rawest fears and longings. Listen to the subtle pulls of your dreams. Follow meaningful coincidences rather than logic. And yes, face your shadow, whether through therapy, creativity, or quiet reflection. Go where your spirit feels most alive. That's where you'll be found. The more true you are to yourself, the less you'll feel the need to chase, because the soul doesn't call in perfection, it calls in what's real. The mystic Rumi once echoed Jung's truth. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Somewhere, someone might already be on their way to you, quietly drawn by the same unseen force. They may not know your name, but their soul recognizes your energy. You won't need to pursue them. You'll know them, not with your eyes, but with something older, deeper. Your soul will simply let go and breathe. And when they arrive, there might be no grand moment, just a quiet knowing, a sense that time bends gently inward, that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, because in the end, this was never only about finding them, it was about fully meeting yourself, honestly, openly, without apology, so that when they appear, you'll finally understand how to let yourself be truly seen. This is soul work, the transformation Jung called individuation, and it begins now. From the echoes of the psyche, may the signs guide you, and may your soul be ready to hear them.